In this video, we will go through a GOATA Pivot Point Progression, starting on the ground with Groundwork 101 and 102, and working our way up to the feet, and then back up and down several times. As always, we will start in a child rocker position with your toes together, heels apart, pressing the tops of your feet down into the ground. Find a neutral position for your pelvis and your shoulders. Memorize that neutral position of the pelvis. You will need it throughout this flow. And begin to rock forward and back. Maintain the breath in and out through the nose. And we'll move into a bow hip stretch on the right side. Stagger the hands towards the right, left knee behind the right knee. And just stay in the stretch for now. We got plenty of time in this flow, so we'll start up nice and easy. It'll get intense soon enough. 5 more seconds. Chest up, eyes forward. Switch sides. You want to find that neutral pelvis. Most people are going to want to tuck the pelvis back, even in the bow hip stretch. And come back to the child rocker. This time tuck the toes. We'll begin to prepare the feet for standing work. Rocking forward and back. Chest up, eyes forward. Keeping the hands pointed forward, elbow pits point forward. So you're corkscrewing the arms. We'll come back into the bow hip stretch on the right side, this time with some rocking. As always, you have a couple options for the rocker. Go forward and back. Inflection and extension, side to side, internal and external rotation, or varying degrees of abduction and adduction. Spend most of your time right down the middle and switch sides with a relatively level pelvis, hips level to the ground. Not too rotated one way or the other, although we do want to explore the range. 5 more seconds, and we'll step up into our lunge. Rocking forward and back, pressing yourself into the lunge with your glute, pulling yourself out of it with the hip flexors. Right leg, or whichever leg is up, is there as a kickstand. We're using the muscles of the hip to drive the motion. 3 more seconds. And switch sides. The lunge, it should get a little bit easier over time to maintain that neutral pelvis as you open up the hip flexors. We'll come back into a child rocker and lift the hands up off the ground. And just nice easy rock straight up and down in the middle. So a lot of times people's hip flexors are tight, which pulls that pelvis forward, which can then also lead to a tight lower back. So your lower back gets arched. 5 more seconds. We'll go side to side. You may choose to tuck the toes. After this, we're going to move up into the standing work. We will come back down. Five more seconds. Push back onto your feet. Weight in the balls of your feet, feet point forward. Heels very lightly on the ground or elevated. And we'll work in the squat to hinge. So knees rotate to the outside. And then spiral back in the hinge. And take a step back to drop in. As you progress through your GOATA journey, you will want to work your drop in varying degrees of, I guess, hip flexion and knee flexion. So challenge yourself to see you get a little bit lower. You can always come back up if it gets challenging. And switch sides. Again, the knee spirals to the outside, chest points towards the knee, just like in the side-to-side good morning rocker. We just remove support as we progress through the pivot points. Down on the ground, you're in 6. Feet, knees, hands. And switch back to the right side. And start to tap. Then in the good morning rocker, just 4 pivot points, feet and knees. And then up on the feet, 2. And here we even get into just 1 pivot point. It can also be thought of as points of support. 5 more seconds. And switch sides. Seek to maintain control, or as much control as you can manage. As you bring that leg up, tap the back of your ankle, come back into the drop-in. 10 more seconds. Three. And right back to the middle. And squat to hinge. If you're starting to get fatigued, you can come down into your access squat or your access hinge. But we are looking to build endurance. 3 more seconds. And come all the way down into the child rocker. Toes together, heels apart, press the tops of your feet down into the ground. Create a little extra tension by pressing your hands forward and your feet back as if to spread the ground apart underneath you. Or if you need to catch a break, just rock for 3 more seconds. We'll come into a bow hip stretch on the right side, left knee behind the right knee. And again, you can stay in the stretch or rock a little bit, forward and back, side to side, up and down. Plenty of options here in the bow hip stretch. 5 more seconds on this side. Switch sides. Chest up, eyes forward. Find that neutral position for the pelvis and the shoulders. Five more seconds. And step up with the right leg into the dynamic half kneeling lunge. Stretching out the front of that left hip, Pressing forward with the glutes, pulling yourself back. Everything in these flows should be as active as you can make it. Once you have the range of motion from the passive stretching, switch sides. Once you have the range of motion, there's no need to get more and just stretch out your ligaments, but you do want to maintain it and build strength in those end ranges of motion. Ten more seconds. We'll come into the side-to-side rocker. Chest points from one knee to the other. It's a great way to maintain the control of that posteriorly tilted or neutral pelvis. Many people will have to posteriorly rotate. Maintaining that pelvis with varying degrees of rotation. And tuck the toes. And we'll just come into the access squat or the bolt squat. So as deep as you can manage, you might feel a stretch on the backs of the ankles. I feel my lower back starting to open up, especially as I lift my chest up. You can even push your knees a little bit wider. Focus on keeping the ball of that big toe grounded into the ground for 3 more seconds. And push all the way up into your access hinge. Again, weight on the balls of your feet, heels very lightly on the ground, if at all. And then try to push your hips back and up. And letting everything hang. Might feel a stretch anywhere up or down the back of the legs. Small of the back, glutes. So we stay here we'll stay here a little bit longer. Maybe 15 more seconds. A lot of people have tightness in the posterior chain. And drop the hips, lift the chest. Take a little squat to hinge, find your glutes, and then come into a double bow. And we'll hold this. You should feel both glutes loaded up, hamstrings, the feet working to keep the heels lifted. Over time, you will feel the quads start to work, but we want to keep a posterior dominance, back chain dominance. With a lot of this work for 5 more seconds. And we'll work squat to hinge. So with the double bow, just like the drop-ins, you want to vary your range of motion and really get strong in all of them. So keep your head on the same level in the squat to hinge. Just pushing your hips back and up. And take a step back with the left foot as we come into a drop-in for the right leg. Again, you want to find that neutral pelvis. Chest points towards the front knee. Keeping the ball of the big toe grounded into the ground. Switch sides. So you can see the similarities between the drop-in and the bow hip stretch, where my back leg almost tucks back in behind the front leg. We'll hold this for 5 more seconds. And switch sides. This time tap out to the side and to the back. You can add other taps if you like. This is just what's coming to me right now. 3 more seconds. Switch sides. Weight in the balls of that left foot. Tap out to the side with your right leg. Chest points towards the left knee. Ten more seconds. Three. We'll come back to center. Double bow. This time try to go a little bit lower. Hold, keep your chest up, eyes forward. 10 more seconds. 3. Squat to hinge. We're about halfway through this flow. Knees spiral out and turn in. Balls of the big toes stay grounded, and we'll move down to our child rockers. Give that lower back a bit of a break. Allow the blood flow to return, the muscles to relax. Elbow pits point forward, hands point forward. Chest up, eyes forward. If you feel a little lost for breath, believe it or not, short breath holds will increase oxygen delivery, and the increased carbon dioxide will increase blood flow. We'll move into a bow hip stretch on the right side. You can stay and stretch or rock forward and back. It's an easy way to incorporate short breath holds. Be in through the nose, out through the nose. Hold the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale and breathe normally for about 10 seconds, 10 to 15. And then you would repeat and switch sides. Right knee behind the left leg. Staying in the stretch or rocking gently back and forth or vigorously. Depends on where you're at in your journey, how you're feeling today. You also have the option for side to side, up and down. 3 more seconds. We'll step up with the right leg to our lunge. Five more seconds, and then we'll switch sides. Switch sides. I'm noticing as I go through the flow, everything gets nice and loose. I'm not feeling much of a stretch anymore. My body's been here before. We really worked these muscles. So they're starting to relax into their strength. Stay here for 3 more seconds. And bring the left foot back into a bow hip stretch on the right side. Hands staggered towards the right. 3 more seconds on this side. And switch. You might try finding a different degree of abduction or adduction by lifting or lowering the free hip, and then rocking in that range. Should feel slightly different. 5 more seconds. We'll come back to child rockers. Tuck the toes. Again, aiming to get the ball of that big toe rooted into the ground. Five more seconds. Push back into your squat to hinge. It's another place where I'm personally finding it challenging to maintain a neutral pelvis. My pelvis just wants to dump forward. And come into a double bow and hold, heels lifted up off the ground. Either maintaining that with the feet or with GOATA chucks. You can also use a small weight plate. However, the GOATA chuck, it's made for this. So I recommend them, especially for beginners, until you develop the foot strength. And take a step back with the left leg. We'll hold the drop in, see if you can get a little bit deeper. Push yourself a little bit as we come towards the end. We're in the last third of this flow. If you're new to this length of flow, this is uncharted territory for you. You may want to come up a little bit higher and switch sides. As you continue to progress, you can keep with the same flow, but change the ranges of motion. A little shaking is all right. However, you might find with slight adjustments of the pelvis or the foot or the leg, that shaking disappears. 3 more seconds and switch. This time we'll tap forward and back. So as you go forward, that bow might start to turn the corner just a bit and switch sides. Which is right around where we want to be. You want to maintain that bow as long as you can. Five more seconds. We'll switch back to the right side this time. Find that bow, let it turn the corner, and we'll walk up and back. So that bow doesn't turn the corner and transfer the pressure until that pressure has somewhere to go. So you should be turning the corner as that other foot lands, and switch sides. Find that nice deep bow and walk up and back, bow to corner. Straightening up as you come through. 3 more seconds. We'll come back, double bow. Ten more seconds. Three. Squat to hinge. Something I noticed right there in the bow was as I found that posterior tilt, or as I posteriorly tilted my pelvis into a neutral position, it almost felt like the vertebrae in my spine stacked up, and the tension just left my lower back. 5 more seconds of squat to hinge. We'll come down into child rockers as we start to land the plane. Of this pivot point progression. Excuse me. 5 more seconds. Bow hip stretch on the right side. Switch sides. Chest up, eyes forward, elbow pits point forward. Pointing the elbow pits forward engages the lats. Step up to your half kneeling lunge, forward and back. Switch sides. The more engaged you get your shoulders, this becomes a workout for the shoulders, not just for the hips. We'll come back to the bow hip stretch this time. Crawling up and back, switching sides each time. A lot of GOATA was developed from infant development and how children go from crawling to walking. When they're crawling, they're not just learning to use their hips and legs. They're developing their core, they're developing their shoulders. And we can do the same. Especially by increasing the tension isometrically. One more time, up into our half kneeling lunge. And switch sides. Come back to home base, child rockers. You can choose to tuck the toes, lift the knees, and end with a little bit more of a challenge for your core and for the shoulders. It's just like the feet. You want to keep the weight in the balls of your hands out of the heel of your hand. Continue if you wish. That's the end of this flow. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your energy.